Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. Yes, indeed. We love doing this, and we couldn't do it without you guys. I'm just saying that up front. Yes. Wherever you are, even if you're, no, I'm not talking about support. I'm talking about just everybody
listeners.
Who's listening.
Yeah. You out there.
You, yes. Stop picking your nose while you're driving. I know you think nobody can see, but they can.
There is a car coming up on the left-hand side. Do not get into that lane.
Yes. And if you shift just a little bit sharply, everybody knows you're farting too.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, we have got an outstanding show because one of the most creative chaps that we've run across in the guitar world is on the show today. Who are you, sir?
Randy Parsons. I'm here in attendance.
All right.
And I want to say thank you for having me back on the show, even though I begged.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back. We had a great time sitting around the fire listening to your stories last time, and I know we got a couple doozies again this time, so this is going to be fun.
And if you need a preview,
yes,
you can always go back to episode number 338.
338. That's very close for 100 back.
Yeah, so
this is going to be 426, I think.
Is it that?
426 or 27?
I can't remember where we are. But anyhow, that was a fun interview back then, too.
It certainly was.
And this is going to be even more fun.
It's going to be funner, I believe is the correct English. So we need to find out... first of all, Tony, do you have any announcements?
I do not.
Okay.
I sort of do, but that's part of my music world this week.
You sort of do?
Yeah.
All right.
I will announce it at my music world this week.
I don't have any major ones, but no, I don't. Let's just talk about what's going on in our music world this week.
Okay.
Shall we? Okay. Tony, you're going to lead us off.
I have an announcement.
And then we're going to talk to Randy here.
So, in my daily concert feed that comes,
yes,
the upcoming shows. I mean, there's so many great shows coming this
fall. It's been an incredible season so far.
I'm just shocked.
Got the new Queens of the Stone Age poster up there.
Oh, that's cool.
From the Columbus show, yeah.
I love that. Anyhow.
Yes.
In my feed today, Sir Paul McCartney is coming to Columbus, Ohio.
Get out of here.
November
my gosh.
November the 8th. He's going to play here in Columbus.
When do tickets go on sale?
Well, I registered for pre-sale on the 15th.
Oh, wow.
I think general tickets go on the 18th. I have no idea how much it's going to cost.
It's going to be expensive.
It's going to be stupid expensive.
Yeah, really stupid.
And that leads me to question my sanity.
Man, I would love to take my kids to that.
But I wonder.
I have a mortgage though.
I do have that too. But my concern is this. I love the Beatles, of course.
Yeah.
I love most of Paul's solo work.
You're a John guy.
I'm a John guy.
I'm a Paul guy.
It figures.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and I've seen him recently on some things, and Paul isn't quite what he once was. And now he's 83 years old. I mean, I'll give him that. I mean, I'll cut him a little bit of slack.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's tough for me. I'm older now too, of course. But when you think if you're going to spend a boatload of money on a show,
yeah, and
it's going to be down 3 octaves from where it was, or step down, maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time, all that.
Yeah.
But I'll see how much tickets are. I mean, I would love to. This is going to probably be one of the last times
it is going to be
in Columbus. I mean, certainly,
yeah, for sure.
And so that coupled with all these other, I've already bought tickets to so many shows for this fall. That but I think it would be great, and even up in the nosebleeds.
Well, you're a Beatles kid.
Yeah. Well, I am.
Yeah. See, now this calls up, and Randy, I want you to weigh in on this. This I'm thinking about a discussion I quite literally had. Was it last night with my daughter? We were talking about the difference between. No, it was actually today at lunch. I was walking with my friend Eric at work. That's right. We were coming back and we were talking about the difference between because everybody's sending me Oasis stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it because I don't want it to feel too familiar. You know, I want to experience that on my own. So I'm trying really hard not to look at all the stuff that's happening right now. And I said, but what is incredible is when you're watching some of these clips and there's like, you know, grown men like my age, like crying their eyes out, right? Because it means a lot to them. Not only does it mean a lot to them, but here's this is where I'm going with this. When you are in a place, you know, the church of music, if you will, right? And you are with all the other people that are there for the same reason that you are, and they know, they get it. Mm-hmm. And you hear that many people's voices at the same time.
Yep.
There's nothing like it.
It's a religious experience.
It's as close as you could probably get to it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I agree with you. Like watching, you don't want to tarnish what you believe to be your idea of what this person is.
Yes.
But I think I would be there for the whole experience, not just listening to him, you know, do his thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, we're all here because the Beatles are that important, you know, that kind of thing, you know, and we're reveling in it. That's just me. Randy, what do you think?
As far as Paul?
The general statement I just made.
Yeah, I think with Paul, I mean, you're witnessing the whole evolution. And I think there's we've seen enough of Paul to know how great he is and the history there. So I think it's different. Sometimes you can see a performer at 60 and you're just like, oh man, this is sad. We don't want to see this anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think I would get that with Paul no matter what.
Yeah.
I think it's a totally different situation. I do remember, you know, like when you were in high school and there was a big show in town, everyone would show up the next day with a concert shirt. And it was kind of like we were signaling we were there, we experienced it. Yep. Kind of the wink, wink. Like if you don't know, if you weren't there, you don't know, you don't get it.
Yeah,
it was an experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think, and you know, there's a difference between somebody who has written and still performing like songs that you know by heart that are part of the bigger human experience, as opposed to somebody who's just kind of trotting out there doing their thing and reliving their past. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this would be that.
I don't get
Tony,
that.
you are wrong.
Okay. All right. I'm going to fork over the money.
You bring
the thing is, though, the concert's in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything can happen. I'm not saying.
Man.
Wow.
That's dark.
No. I just mean like not die, but I mean he could just like in 2 months from now be like, you know what? I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah. He might. You never know.
I don't know. He seems to be like the.
I don't think you will. But I'm just saying,
bunny.
We're at that point where you don't know.
Yeah.
We're in that territory
we
where it's
Tony,
like,
by the way. Anyway,
thanks for helping me spend my money.
I would go, and I would be excited to go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. You talked me into it.
All right. Yeah. We should. I
Give
mean,
you the last chance.
Yeah. If you get tickets or
All
if you get in line,
I'll let you know.
I'll
let you know because I'm supposed to get some sort of code from the early registration.
That would be too cool.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's 83, right?
83.
What's Keith Richards? He's got to be 82.
Oh, he's 105.
In dog years?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's probably.
Keith's got to be in that same ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird to see this now, and you know, my kids will be like, "It's not fair." I was like, "What's not fair?" And they're like, "You got to see all the good people. There's no good people left to go see." And I'm like, "You're right.
It's true.
You're right.
It's true. You think about the 70s. we went from Let It Be to Van Halen in 10 years.
Yeah.
Think of everyone in between.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And then they toured all through the 80s, so you got to see that.
Yeah.
So, in case you were wondering, Keith is a mere lad of 81.
81.
He's a kid. See, I wouldn't go to a Keith Richards concert. I'll just wait for the next year. Like, I'll see him in a few years.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
I'll wait for the 2040 show.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Randy, what's going on in your music world?
Oh, boy.
This week. We'll just keep it to this week. Anything interesting?
There wasn't supposed to be a test. I don't know where I'm at. No, I'm busy. I'm really busy. Like I've never been this busy in my life.
Wow.
I've got so right now I've got 30 guitars that I'm building, and I've never built 30 at a time, so I'm a little bit late, but it's okay. I figure I took some advice, and they're like, you really got to think about this as a scale up project and kind of an assembly line. Build them all together. Don't start mixing all the steps. If you're a little bit late on all of them, that's not a big deal. But if you push a group forward, you're going to be really late on the last group. But it's good. I'm in a good place. I'm building some really good quality stuff. What's happening right now? Just to recap, I bought a big church in Kansas a couple years ago, and I built a home and a really cool shop. And I continued to tear the church apart and use materials to build guitars. Like all the church pews are gone. I chopped them all up and made a bunch of guitar bodies. So downstairs, like the basement's huge. So I've got a basement that's about 5,000 square feet.
Wow.
And it's got a big 12-foot, 15-foot in some areas ceiling. And you have all these like church pews that are like chopped up, laying in all the corners, and then you've got these benches with all these church pew guitar tops.
What kind of wood is that, by the way? Do you know? Well, of course you know.
Well, it's cherry, which isn't a traditional guitar making wood, but this stuff tends to be a little heavy, so I've had to chamber it out to get my desired weight. But it's stable. It's very stable because it's been sitting in the church now for 110 years.
Wow.
Too cool.
Yeah.
So is cherry not used because of its weight, or
It has pits.
It's not a very it's not a very pretty wood. So I don't know. I think dimension wise, it's not the best. It's not very pretty wood, and it tends to be a little too heavy.
Is it really skinny, like skinny trunks and stuff?
Yeah, so it's hard to get a wide piece, but you can get like swamp ash. The old telly's made of swamp wood.
Yeah.
A lot of ash is too heavy, but you get that one piece that's really light, and those are the ones that end up being guitars. And I don't know if cherry makes a light wood. I think it's all heavy.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
You have to get swamp cherry.
Yeah,
The swamp cherry. You get some old swamp cherry. Woo! That's some tone right there. Or a boat. I don't know.
Cool. What about you, Todd? What's going on in your musical world this week?
So recently I inquired about I was talking to my friend Tony here. He's all knowing about the P90 pickups. He's got a lot of P90 guitars, and
I wouldn't say all knowing, but I know.
Just go with
I
me
know a bit
on this. It's a story, okay?
Okay.
Jeez, rubbing off the magic. So I got a Fralin.
Yes.
P90.
What kind of
It's
P90?
a noiseless P90.
Oh.
Yes. And I got it from a good friend. He double charged me for it, but that's okay.
Triple.
So it's a noiseless P90. But the thing that I wanted to bring up was, you said, what kind do you want? And I was like, and I know that you can go up or down or stay neutral or, whatever their kind of neutral is, right?
Stock.
Yes. And you suggested the 5% plus. So tell us why.
It's just overwound 5%. So it has more wines on it. It tends to make it a little bit louder, but it also darkens it a little bit.
Okay.
If you go to a 10%, it starts getting more into the world of.
That sounds really harsh.
What do you mean harsh?
It sounds like it would be really harsh sounding.
No. I mean, the more wines that you put on it, the darker the pickup gets.
Uh-huh.
It's just, think about if you underwind it, sometimes it gets less woofy.
Yes.
And what I find is a 5% overwind in the bridge paired with a stock neck pickup.
I'm leaving the stock neck.
Well, yeah, for now.
The neck stock. I mean, yeah.
For now. Once you get this in, you might change your mind. But Lindy does a great job with these. It's a kind of an interesting design. It's not like a stacked P90, like a P100, like Gibson put out a while back.
Yeah,
but
I did not like that.
What he has is basically two opposing coils. If you think to like a mudbucker that Gibson used in basses. So those coils fire towards a center bar.
Okay.
And that's where the pole pieces are. Yeah, like that. Pew, pew, pew,
Right.
pew. And so I think you're going to like it. I put these noiseless.
I better for the price that this guy charged me.
Oh, for God's sakes. You're lucky. But, any of my single pickup guitars like Juniors or anything like that, I go with the noiseless P90s because it still sounds like a P90, but you get rid of a lot of the noise.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm excited to get this put in. Oh, he signed it. That's cool. Lindy was on our show a while back.
Yeah, that was a while back.
Supercomputer Tony's going to tell us when that was. We're going to keep going. By the way, I want to say a public thank you to my friend for hooking me up with that.
Who's your friend?
I don't disclose these things. We didn't talk about pedals at all, but if we did,
yes.
I would highly recommend that with any pedal choice you're about to make, get yourself some Tour Gear Designs patch cables. It will absolutely help you out. I just redid my board, and solely because I'm using those cables, I literally was able to get another pedal on that wouldn't have fit. The low profile.
Yes. Minuscule.
Yes. Jack is just an absolute bonus. Anyways, they've got all kinds of great lengths and sizes, configurations.
Yes.
C shape, S shape to go from top to side, side to top, or top to top.
Or side to side.
Bang, bang, bow. Go there, load up your cart.
Load it up.
You're going to hit purchase. But wait, don't worry.
I'm worried.
You shouldn't be, because you're going to get the coupon code area input at that point. And you're going to put in the guitar knobs, and you're going to save 15% off.
Is that all lowercase, all one word?
All lowercase, all one word.
15%, you say?
15%, as long as it lasts. So get in. What do they say in the UK? Get in.
Get in.
Get
while
in.
You can get in while you can.
Yeah, get in, lap. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring our Four on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. Four on the Floor. All right, Mr. Randy Parsons, what is your Four on the Floor? V2.
Okay, you're not going to like this.
Sell me harder on this.
No, I'm just not going to play your little game. Okay. So I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's lipstick on a pig. If your intonation is not correctly set on your guitar, all of this, the number of pickup lines you were just talking about, the this and the that, and the Four on the Floor, it's useless. You're going to sound like crap. And I think this is the time we need to have this discussion.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about intonation.
Okay, so I see. You're going to say, look, as much as I want to talk about pedals, I think it's sort of like a public service announcement. That's what I'm getting.
I'm here to help.
Perfect. All right. Let's roll with that.
All right.
Okay. Well, so the idea is basically take a beautiful Steinway grand piano. And you can talk about the dampener mechanism and the this and that, but if the thing's not in tune, it's just not going to sound good. I mean, I think we can all agree to that, right?
Yes.
I agree.
So the problem with the guitar, let's take the piano. The piano has a string for every note. There's a little hammer, hits a little string inside the piano. So every single note has its own string. With a guitar, you have as many notes as the piano. But you only have 6 strings, and then they put these little metal frets all over that's where you can find the other notes. So there's some problems with that. So let's get into what intonation is. There's staying in tune, and there's playing in tune. Staying in tune is just your guitar keeping its tune. For instance, a lot of people, they ask me, got to go to these concerts and the rock star comes out on stage and just plays the crap out of that guitar and it stays in tune. How does he do that? I can't keep my guitar in tune. Or when I ran the repair shops in Seattle, we would get customers that come in. They were like, I need a new set of tuners. And okay, why do you need tuners? Well, my guitar won't stay in tune. Okay, guitars don't stay in tune because the strings aren't stretched. And there's a simple thing you can do. For instance, everyone complains the G string. The G string is the worst. The reason the G string is the worst, it's because it's the thickest of all the strings. And right away you might be like, oh, the low E is thicker than the G string. Well, no, I'm talking about the solid core inside the string. For instance, if you look at the low E string, it has a core similar to the size of the G string, but then it's wrapped. It's that core that we're talking about. And the G string in a set of 6 strings is actually the thickest core by itself. And so it tends not to lay itself cleanly around like the tuning peg. Sometimes it gets caught a little bit in the nut slot or has the pitch from the bridge saddle is not straight. It kind of arcs a little bit because it's this thick string that needs to be tugged.
Right.
So what you can do, and you can do this to any guitar, is this method. You put strings on a guitar and you tune it up. Then what I do, you grab the string where the neck meets the body and you tug, 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 kind of wiggle it, kind of violently. And then you go to tune that string again. And you'll notice that it's about a half step or a whole step. It just went way down. So you tune it back to pitch. You grab it again at the base of the neck. Wiggle, 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 pull, pull, pull. You tune it. Now you notice it's still out of tune, but it's not that much out of tune. By the 3rd time, you're locked in. By the 4th time, you grab the string and you tug and you wiggle. It's in perfect tune. And so that's what guitar techs do. When we're backstage and we're going to throw a rock star a guitar, we grab those strings and tug, 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 wiggle, wiggle, and do that 3 or 4 times. And it is in tune. You can have cheap tuners on your guitar and the thing's going to stay in tune. So that's staying in tune, and that's a little trick that people can do to keep their guitars stay in tune.
That's a good
But
one.
I'm talking about playing in tune, and that means you tune all 6 strings to your little tuner. You play the A minor chord. It sounds lovely. Then you play a chord up a little bit higher past the 7th fret, and it's out of tune. That's intonation. That's different spots on your fingerboard not being in tune. And so what we've been taught is that we should take our guitar into the repair guy. There's a guy down the street. He's the man. And he'll strobe tune your bridge, get it, intonated. He'll get the intonation done. And so they can do that, and it helps. But that's only about 65-70% of the problem. And so I want to tell you about intonation, what causes intonation, what you can do to help your intonation. And I think the best way to do this is to have everyone visualize a guitar string and what's taking place every time you finger a note, every time you pluck the string. So here we go. Let's journey down a path.
If you're driving, don't close your eyes.
That's right. Okay, so imagine a tightrope at a circus. That's the little they put a metal rope from one end to the other end of the circus, and a lady with a balancing bar walks the tightrope, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they got to get that rope tight enough for her to walk across. Mm-hmm. And so let's say they put 200 pounds of pressure on that metal rope. And that allows her to walk across the rope without it bending too much. Now, if you take that tight rope, the giant tight rope, and you put 200 pounds of pressure on it so the lady can walk across it, and you were a giant person with a guitar pick and you reached up and you hit that, it would produce a pitch. If you tightened the rope, the pitch would go up. If you loosened it, the pitch would go down. If you loosened it, it would have a little bit harder time holding her weight without bending too much. And if you tightened it more, it would stiffen up so she could walk across it. Okay, so now you tighten that tight rope to 200 pounds, and let's say it's a perfect A. So if you were King Kong and you reached up and you took a huge guitar pick and you hit that rope with a guitar pick, it would ring at an A. The second she steps on that rope, the rope, you might not be able to actually see it. It will stretch a little bit, adding a little bit of tension, a little bit of pressure to that rope, which means at that moment, if you actually plucked it, it would be a little bit sharp, because if you add tension to a rope, the pitch goes up. And by her standing on that rope, you're putting a little bit of tension. So the same thing takes place with a guitar. You've got a string from the nut to the bridge, point A to point B. The second you take your finger and you press down on that guitar string and you press it down towards a fret, it's as if the tightrope walker just went down the strings, and she's adding pressure. She's bending it down a little bit, just like your finger's bending it down. So what that does is it causes it to go sharp. And so how that works, let me clean this up a little bit. So your guitar, if you go from your nut to your bridge with an A string, right in the middle at the 12th fret is your octave. So the open note is an A. You press your finger down at the 12th fret, and that's splitting the string exactly in half, and that's an A an octave higher. And so you would think that the measurement then from that 12th fret to your bridge would be exactly the same distance from that 12th fret to your nut. And it should be. But if it is, it won't play in tune, because when you press down on that 12th fret, you're stretching the string a little bit. So what we do is we compensate down at the bridge saddle, and we move the saddle a little bit further away from the pickups. We move it south. And that allows for that little stretching of the guitar string that would make it sharp, make it play in tune. So the guitar has these problems that there's all this tension being added to it, just like the tightrope walker. For instance, if you have a heavy guitar pick and you strike a guitar string, you're actually pushing this guitar string out a little bit. And when you push the string out, it pushes sharp. It's just like when you press down on a note and you push the string up, bending the note up, you're pushing it sharp. When you do a little vibrato, you press the note down, you kind of wiggle a little bit, a little vibrato, you're messing with the pitch. You're going from high, low, high, low, high, low. So everything is pitch related with that guitar string. When you press down to the fret, if you press really hard, you can actually continue to press the string between the two frets into the wood, causing an even more stress and it to go even more sharp. So we have these strings, we're adding this unwanted tension to the guitar string, and we're knocking the notes all sharp. And so what we do is we strobe tune the bridge by moving the saddles in different locations to compensate for that stretching that's taking place. So, and usually guitar tech, I think most people they've seen this where you press down at the 12th fret on a string, and then you hit the open string, and you use your little strobe tuner to try to match those two notes, and you match them by adjusting your bridge saddle. For instance, if I ding, 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 ding at the 12th fret of my high E, and then I hit the open, bong, dong, dong, dong. It's the same note. It's both an E, one's an octave higher.
Right.
And I notice that my open string's a little bit flat. Then I'll move my saddle south a little bit. And I'll keep going back and forth until those notes match. So here's where the problem. So guitar techs do this to guitars. We take in the guitar, we put on new strings, and then we strobe tune the bridge. We put the bridge saddles where they need to be. But there's all these other factors that are involved. And this is where a lot of guitar players kind of do themselves dirty. I call this kind of a little bit of information is dangerous. So we talked about pressing the string down into a fret and how it causes the string to go sharp. You can imagine that the higher action you have, the further distance down to the fret, the further distance, the more you're stretching that string sharp. So people that like high action are doing themselves dirty. Sometimes they get so obsessed with, I can't have any fret buzz, that I have to jack up my action so high that there's no fret buzz. But the audience, we don't hear fret buzz. We hear notes not being in tune. And so one of the best things you can do for intonation is to lower your strings. This is good news, I think, for most people. But you want to reduce that stretching, the distance the string takes down to the fret. And you can do that by having nice low action. So try if you can, and I don't want to tell people not to do their thing, but try to go lower than high. The other thing is the gauge of your guitar pick. We know that when we strike a note, instantly it peaks sharp, and then it slowly settles back down into tune, and then actually goes below tune. So if you have a really heavy pick, you're putting too much striking force into that string, and you're pushing your strings sharp. If you like to hit your strings hard, then just lighten up on your pick if you can. I mean, use a thin nylon pick if you really like to bang out those power chords, because like power chords sound so good when your guitar's in tune. It's like, don't try to make your power chord emotional by hitting it so hard. Use your volume and your tone resources to get that power out of your power chord. But I'm telling you, when you're out in the audience and the intonation's not right, or your guitar's not in tune, and you hit that power chord, it almost sounds like something's wrong with the speakers. We've all been to those shows where it sounds like, God, are the speakers all going the same direction? There seems to be this weird vacuum between the bass and the guitar player. It just sounds horribly. Usually that's intonation. It's that little wobble when the two strings aren't in tune. And so, like, when I intonate guitars, I also realize that when we play the guitar, we're on the notes for a fraction of a second. A second's a long time. It's like 1, 2, 3. I mean, that would be a pretty boring solo. A solo is usually blah, 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 blah. So when you intonate a guitar, you shouldn't just hit the string and let it ring out. You should actually hit the string like you're playing it. Ding, 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 ding. That represents how we play versus just ding, settling out of tune. So when I intonate a guitar, that's one of the tricks I use, is that, I rapidly hit the notes. And you can kind of watch the strobe and see where it's going. Also, the nuts. So let me back up a little bit here. And we're almost done with this, and I'll tie it all together, I promise. So when I started my career, was in Seattle. And I started late. I was 28 years old. I tell the tale that I was taking a shower one day, and it hit me that I was going to be a guitar maker. And I quit my job. And I started cutting wood, and all that's true. But my plan was to start a repair shop. So I went out and bought this little white cargo van, and I painted a Les Paul on the side of the van. And I wrote quality repair and wrote my phone number. And I went to the local music stores. I said, hey, I've got this pickup service for repairs. If you have clients that need it, here's my phone number, here's my business card. And I went to this one shop in the Seattle U district called Trading Musician. It's a wonderful shop. Unfortunately, they went out of business, but it was this weird, funky building. It was like 4 different floors, and they only sold cool used gear. And so I went there with my van and everything, and I said, "Hey, I want to do a pickup service, service your guys." And he's like, "Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Can you come back Tuesday?" So I went back Tuesday, and they gave me 14 guitars to set up.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, I was excited because I was like, I'm in business. I was just like, wow. And he was like, he goes, okay, here's the strings, set up these guitars. He goes, Chris Hesterman was the head of repair there, and I owe him a lot. He was like a drill sergeant. But he said, straight necks, perfect nut slots, make sure they're strobed correctly. Here's the strings, come back in a week. And I came back in a week, and he refused every single guitar. Oh. He would pick it up. He'd like truss rod, nut slot, pickup height. Then he would play it. And he'd be like, no. And he showed me a couple things. He goes, we have low tolerance. He goes, this is how I want my nut slots. This is how I want my truss rod. This is how I want my action. This is how I want the intonation set. He goes, every single guitar in our store is set up like this. And this is what makes us who we are, because people come in and they play these old Ks and these old Gretches, and they all just play like butter. So I picked up some more guitars, and I took all the other guitars back, and I came back second week, and he accepted like half of them. Anyways, it took me a couple months. Before they were accepting all my guitars. But I was working like 60 guitars a month, and I was, sweating it because they would like inspect every single one of them. And I was only getting $20 a setup.
Yeah, but back then that's not bad, right? I mean,
yes, and it was high numbers, and I was learning. But the thing is, I was more excited about learning so much about how to do a quality setup. And so, anyways,
why he stuck with you.
What I learned is that how, number one, important the nut slot is. So if anyone says, I like my nut slots kind of low, or I like my nut slots kind of high, they don't know what they're talking about. A nut slot can only be one place, and that is the exact height of a fret. The nut basically is the first fret. Mm-hmm. You would never say, well, I like my fifth fret's a little bit higher, or that note wouldn't work. And so when it comes to a nut slot, if the nut slot is too low, it'll fret out on the first fret. Mm-hmm. And if the nut slot is too high, it's too high. And there's a way we go in to make sure it's, And if you think about that tightrope walker, when she's out in the middle, that's where it's the weakest, the most bounciest. Mm-hmm. But when she first steps out on the rope, it's probably pretty stiff because it's connected to that pole, like just a foot away. Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing with a nut slot is that your string is anchored solidly in that slot. And that's why it's a lot harder to bend a note at the first fret than it is at the 12th fret. The easiest note to bend should be your 12th fret. It's right in the middle of your string. The hardest bend is your first fret because it's anchored against that nut and it's not going anywhere. Well, okay, so let's apply that to pushing the string down onto the first fret, your first position. If your nut slot is high, you're going to get weird resistance when you go to press that note on the first fret. And that just completely throws your intonation out all the way down your neck, and you can't do anything at the bridge to solve that. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's really important to, number one, to get that nut slot as high as the fret to where when you go to press the first fret, just easily touches that first fret. So when I realized that, and then I realized, how straight necks feel as opposed to necks with too much relief, it can feel bouncy and unpleasurable to play. So learn the nut slots, learn the straightening of the neck, getting the action low. And then once you do all those things, you're kind of helping the intonation out the best you can. You've got your nut slot dialed in, you've got the action low, you've got the neck straight so it's consistent, height from string to fret all the way down. And then at that moment, and only that moment, do you go to your strobe tuner and dial in your bridge. And that's the best. And then you properly pick the note. Sometimes I even ask the owner, well, what's your pick gauge, so I can use the same pick when I do your intonation. And so once you've done all that, you've done the best you can. And I've dealt with a lot of clients that are, unfortunately, they have perfect pitch, and intonation just drives them crazy. I've been to so many shops, so many guitar techs, and no one can intonate my guitar. And sometimes it's the player. These things that I mentioned, it's like maybe they're striking the string too hard. Maybe they're pushing down on the frets too hard. Maybe they're stubborn and they like their action high because they read an article that so-and-so had it that way, and they really like to get under the string. So all those things will affect your intonation. So the bottom line is, what I'm trying to leave people with is that you got to give your guitar string a break. It's trying to do a lot of things. And if you can recognize and reduce the extra tension that you're putting on your guitar string, the guitar will play in tune. So get your guitar set up by a quality person. And then at that point, I'm not saying adjust your playing at all. I'm just think about it. Same thing with like a weak neck. If you like to go on stage and jump around and you're playing a guitar that has kind of like a flexible neck, obviously that's going to wreak havoc as well. Mm-hmm. So you almost have to train yourself to jump up and down, holding the body, not the neck. It's just a really imperfect instrument. And the beauty, though, is once your intonation's set and you've got your technique dialed in, then you can start worrying about tone in the four on the floor and all that stuff, because you're starting from a good place. Does any of that make any sense?
It makes total sense.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
No, I think
tightrope circus elephants should not be allowed, and popcorn's too much.
No, I think you raised a couple of really good points.
Yeah.
The one.
Thank you. First of all, thank you. That was really great. Thank you.
Even though it wasn't a 4 on the floor, but that's okay. We're gonna let you slide, but. And a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to intonation, it isn't the wrap of the string, it's the core of the string. So what you say about the G string being technically the thickest string, even though an E string is certainly thicker because of the wrap, it's the core.
Yeah.
And that's what determines the position. And the guitar is an imperfect instrument in that it is compromised up and down the neck.
Yeah.
It's
a wonder it flies.
Yeah. I mean,
and we find beauty in that, because some people can manipulate all that stuff to their, that's the beauty of the instrument.
Yeah.
Is that it has so much potential to kind of like, wiggle this area, wiggle that, where, like when people look at a bridge, like a Les Paul bridge, they notice that the first 3 saddles are kind of like, they in uniform go further away from the pickup. So like the high E is closest to the pickup, then the B goes back a little bit, then the G goes back a little bit. And the theory is the bigger the string, the further back it needs to go. Mm-hmm. Then, like you said, then they go, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, because now if you look at your D, your A, and your low E, they've all moved up and kind of like mimic the same pattern. It's because the core in the center is the same size as your E, B, G. It just repeats itself, basically.
Everybody just went, oh, right there.
There it is.
The biggest one, though, is because I know having this repair shop, is that a lot of people just don't. They think the instrument's some magical thing, and they can't do this and they can't do that. They don't understand this. It's really just simple, like the G string not staying in tune. It's a big, solid string. Just grab it and tug it, stretch it out. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the other, so some people go to the extremes of doing like fan frets and things like that. And if you're in a band and you're the only person in the band that has fan frets, you're going to be out of tune with everybody else in the band. So, I think you have to work the compromises, as we were talking about a little bit. And, it's going to be kind of natural sometimes. I mean, you set up the guitar to get it as close to perfect as you can. And the other thing I wanted to say is the nut height is critical. I mean, because
absolutely.
that 9 times out of 10 you can rough set intonation at the bridge, and as long as your nut height is not buzzing and not too high, you're going to be at least pretty close to the ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, when I set up a guitar that has 6 adjustable bridges or saddles, I always kind of do the EAD, in kind of at an angle, and then I drop back the G, B, E, kind of in the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's to me is a good starting point.
Yeah.
But in the world of like a Les Paul Jr. that has a wraparound tailpiece, I mean, that is a severely compromised guitar. But there have been many, many great players that take that to their advantage. Leslie West.
Yeah.
That was, and he could make the guitar sing perfectly. So.
Yeah, I've been to some concerts where I feel like there's too many. There's like the bass player has his own tech. The 2 guitar players have their own techs. It's like I feel like one tech should be intonating because everyone intonates a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
They should at least be on the same page.
So I believe I can attribute this to Drew Foppy, but I think he was talking. He's been on the show before. He was the guitar tech for Pumpkins and I think Fleetwood Mac and Deftones and Shinedown. He's out there doing a thing. Anyways, one of the things that he was talking about is how one of the players that he was working on at the show likes to detune. Like 10 cents, the term cents off for tuning because of the way that the guy played. He's like, I'm heavy-handed, and I play hard. So like, I'm not playing any open strings, just that are supposed to sing out. So I'm going to be clamping down. Let's compensate for that. I think that's supposedly how I remember it, but I thought that was really interesting. Because that means that they're like, look, we got it all intonated, but just the way you play, man, like you said, Randy, it sets everything just off enough, and that was Drew's way of kind of helping that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's really up to us to help it out because they're not going to listen, and that's fine. I mean. But you mentioned the guy with the scalloped neck. It's like there's too many people that play by themselves, and then they get with the band for the first time, and then it's like, whoops.
Yep, indeed. Well, thank you for that. That was the first 4 on the floor that wasn't, and that's cool.
My real goal.
It was a public service announcement.
Yes, that was a public service announcement, and we appreciate that. And you made it very colorful, and we were all quiet listening.
So once you get your guitar intonated,
yes,
and you want to go back and learn a little bit about pickups, specifically Lindy Fralin pickups, go back to episode number 279. That's from August of 2022.
It doesn't seem like it was that far. That's crazy.
Man, it was.
As the world turns.
He's a national treasure as far as I'm concerned.
Absolute sweet guy. He was so nice to talk to.
He still picks up the phone. I don't know if I told this story last time, but I had a client send me these vintage pickups, and I didn't even know what these were. These were really some obscure, and the client was really excited. He's like, "Dude, that one pickup is 19 ohms. You got to build me something for that pickup. It's pumping out 19 ohms, or whatever pickups pump out when you put the little meter on them."
Yeah. Killer.
And
okay.
So I couldn't get this pickup to work at all. And so I called up Lindy. And of course he picks up the phone, and I'm like, okay, first of all, this is a bizarre pickup. It's got like this blue metal brass. He's like, oh yeah, and it's got a nut on the side, and it's got 2 little things on the blah, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's the pickup. He's like, yeah, those are great pickups, but right before they die, they read 17 ohms. And apparently what happens is he goes, the wires inside all rust. And then when that happens, they all heat up.
Oh, wow.
And you get this really high, he goes, but you only have days at that point. So, like,
Man.
but the point is, I was just like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's Batman.
I have a similar story. I had an old 60s guild aristocrat or something. When well, it wasn't a solid body guitar, but it looks like a solid body. And I had the pickup in the neck. It read fine. It's like 8.2 or something like that. But the output was almost non-existent when you plugged it in. So I called Lindy and I said, hey, I want to send this pickup in, have you look at it, see what you think. And so we talked a little bit, and he said, well, what's it doing? Okay, you got the reading? Yeah, okay, that's good. That means the coil's good. Let's do this before you send it in. Loosen up one of the bar magnets and flip it over. And sure enough, that little...
Wait, low.
And behold, it fixed the problem. And he said, sometimes at the factory they installed them upside down, and that just cured it. So
wow.
And just
sometimes there's a guy, Bill. He works on Thursdays. He will do that between like 2 and 3. At the factory.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He's
if
fired.
You look at probably an initial, if you see who signed it, it'll probably be a B.Y.
Yeah.
Like, yep.
Yeah.
No, it's,
Bill gets his hair cut every Tuesday at 5, and right next to the barber is Joe's Pub. So he has a couple. So the next day, if you ever see
lots of upside down magnets,
anything that's built on a Wednesday is going to be a little off.
Yeah. So, but it's cool, and it's and there's other great builders out there that can diagnose things without having it right in front of them.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it could be a cold solder joint that you're not getting output from things. So you just touch the where the wind meets the output wire and touch it, heat it up, cures the problem.
There you go. Man, that was some cool stuff there, Randy. I know you got a lot more cool stuff to talk about. So why don't you give us an update on what's going on with the shop, and then I think maybe you can give us one more big story that I think you mentioned earlier.
So I just to name drop, because that's what this is all about, right?
Tonight it is.
I'm. By the way, I'm in a good place because the first part of my career was the ego, then it was a confusion, and now I'm into the self. So I shouldn't even be name dropping, but I'm going to do it.
Do it. Drop it.
I just finished a really cool guitar for Jeff Ament, the Pearl Jam guy.
Wow,
yeah.
Nice.
It was a classical guitar.
Huh.
It was?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it was. It was. It's called the Red Buffalo, and I guess he's got a cool pad in Montana, and he's building a recording studio, and so he wanted a real special piece for the studio. And so I just finished that up and sent it to him, and few months ago, I came up with this idea called the Carnival Guitars, where like every 4 months I come up with this. What it is, it's a form of decoupage. Mm-hmm. Decoupage is where you take, you do printed images on rice paper, and then you transfer that rice paper to wood using lacquers. Then you sand and distress it and kind of crackle it. It looks really cool. People do that to furniture. And I've always been interested in mixing mediums, and that was one that I kind of got interested in. And I saw this really cool artwork by this Italian artist, and so I did one of these guitars, and I just loved it. I loved it also because the finish work wasn't spray booth finish; it was just brush on lacquer, and I found that therapeutic in a way. And so I started doing these Carnival guitars. They started selling. The first one was the Red Queen. Then I did the White Rabbit. And then I'm kind of getting ready to put together my 2026 Bat. The Bat is a guitar that I've been building since 2017. And I'm probably going to introduce a little decoupage.
That's like your signature thing, right?
My signature thing, and it's always evolving. So in 2006, the changes to it, I recently worked on a vintage Gretsch Roundup with the leather motif, the Western motifs, the big art blocks, and then the leather on the side. I really loved having that leather on the side. So I got some. It's a little different look in that it's a darker leather and there's no artwork. But I got these cool pins. So the new bats have leather on the side inlaid, a little decoupage pattern here and there. All of them have the cow skull and the coyote skull with the light switch. So yeah, what I've been doing is building these bats, doing the carnival guitars, finished up that Jeff Ament project, and as you may know, I have a Patreon, and I started a cool little community about a year and a half ago, and that's grew into a little fun project where I gave the group a cool little name called the Free Sixes. And the Free Sixes mean we give away free guitars. And every other month I do some type of farm animal race, usually like chickens or goats. Kind of mix it up like Halloween. We rolled some pumpkins down a hill. So basically I pick 5 names from a hat on my Patreon supporters. And then the winner wins a guitar. And we have another one coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be one of these 2026 bats with the leather sides, like I mentioned.
Oh, man.
Nice.
And we're still, we've got some goats lined up. I'm not going to lie. We've got some goats lined up, but they're kind of creating some problems. So we don't know. I have some mechanical goats. And if the.
You what?
I do. So okay. I've got 5 mechanical goats, and the funny.
Where does one find a mechanical goat?
Well, the craziest thing is that they're all in the trunk of my car, and I got pulled over by the state patrol, and they didn't look in my trunk because they didn't. But I really was hoping for the trooper to be like, hey, before I let you leave, anything in the car, that have guns, bazookas, And I was going to be like, yeah, there's some in the trunk you might want to. I can explain it though. So yeah, I got 5 mechanical goats in the trunk of my car, and they're the backup. They're Plan B. If we can't get the real goats to race, and we're gonna go mechanical.
Wow.
But I kind of got off track there. So giving away guitars through Patreon. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'm still building out the church. It's hot. Things are good. And what do you want from me? Huh?
Well, I do think you kind of undersold the carnival guitars a little bit. Though, please, everybody, make sure you get over to Instagram and see some of the shots of these guitars.
Yeah, they're really,
because
really
it
cool.
is. I mean, you can just look at that thing
thank you.
forever because there's just so much cool artistic detail on it. I mean,
I keep
they don't look
stressing,
like anything else. I mean, period.
Every single thing, like like the strap buttons. I ordered a bunch of nickel strap buttons and I aged them with the chemicals. But I'm taking apart this old piano from the 19th century, and those little pads they put between the body and the strap button. Those little strap button pads, little white. The piano has a bunch of old white ones that look like they're 100 years old. Well, they are 100 years old. And so, that's how I approach every inch of that guitar. So the strap buttons are these aged, cool nickel Gibson-style strap buttons. And then it's got the 110-year-old felt underneath them.
That's cool.
So anyways, there's nothing on the guitar that looks production or looks like you could just go to the store and buy the part. So everything is kind of aged or weathered. The decoupage on the body, also there's decoupage on the fingerboard. So what I do is take my fingerboards and I CNC the radius and the fret slots, and then I do the decoupage. I find a really cool pattern and put the frets over the paper. It's a beautiful thing.
It's
It
kind
really
of
is.
Harlequin-y.
Yeah,
really cool.
And the cool thing is the sky's the limit with the design. Like, I'm going to pull back a little bit on the design. The first 2 are pretty out there with the picture of the queen, the picture of the white rabbit. The third one's going to be just some subtle pattern pattern work. Yeah.
Outstanding.
So that's really cool. However, I will tell you that this new 2026 bat is going to shock a lot of people. It's pretty freaking cool. It's I haven't come up with a name for it, but I'm looking for some type of silly long name. Like I'm thinking about calling it El Diablo de Mexico.
Okay. Yeah.
But when you see it, you're like, yeah, this is Sam Quentin quarantine movie. I mean, it's basically, when it's kind of like, okay, when you open up the guitar case and there was a gun inside the guitar case.
Oh yeah. I know what you're.
What's his name?
Yeah. It's not Quentin Tarantino. It's the.
Well, he was the director, so I'm thinking.
Yeah, but it's another.
Oh no, he wasn't. He wasn't the director.
No.
No.
Oh, hang on. IMDb.
You gotta look it up.
Guillermo. Shoot. Okay, keep talking.
No. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, so this is the guitar to combat that guitar. So someone opened up the guitar case in that Mexican bar and took out a guitar and started shooting. My guitar would be the one you would take out to conquer the guy that was shooting with the guitar. He just took out the guitar case, which makes no sense whatsoever until you see the guitar.
I think it's Guillermo del Toro.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct.
I'm pretty
And
sure.
the actor was
Benicio.
Antonio Banderas.
Oh, yeah, that's
it?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, well, all the memories are just coming back. We know the movie so well. It's good.
They're coming back and they're
That was
fading.
great. Yeah, turned in. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Maybe you can build
So,
one of those into a guitar.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Or you can call
My
it
shop's a little-
pew pew.
pew pew
Pew, pew.
Was it made out of
Pew.
the pew wood?
pew. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, again, there's so many stories. Yeah, every inch. Yeah. Well,
It's not as sexy as what you said, though.
I'm having a lot of fun.
That's cool. Well,
But yeah, the craziest thing out here is this. I don't know about where you're at. Are the storms, the lightning storms that we get?
oh, yeah.
We've been getting a lot of crazy weather.
Yeah, but out
throughout
your
the
way,
country.
it's even
Yeah.
bigger. I think. Now we have, you kind of teased us a little story before
All
we
right.
started.
Okay.
If the names
bail
are
you
already
out.
on the ground, you might as well drop this one.
Okay. So, how I ended up with Paul Stanley's black Mercedes.
Episode
was a
1.
Yeah, but
This is
what we need after that is, or
No. Well, I got to tell this story. This is a crazy story. And I'm not even going to exaggerate. I'm probably leave details out. I'm sure
Okay.
I will, because I can't even talk about it. So anyways, Paul Stanley had this black SL500. The SL500 is kind of the flagship sports model. It's got the two doors, that rounded back, and it's convertible, kind of folds into the trunk. And he had a tricked out one. It was an AMG. It was huge 22-inch rims, black, illegally tinted windows, black. The car was black. It was just black on black on black. And he decided that he was going to try to sell it on eBay for $1 million. I ended up with the car, and this is how it happened. Okay,
wouldn't it be just hilarious if we just cut it right there?
out of time. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So, anyways, when I had my shop in Seattle, this guy opened up a restaurant next to me, and we became friends. He was the same age, and he was a funny guy. He called the restaurant the worst place. WU. He sold Brostwurst.
Oh, you have Tony's attention.
I like a good
And
worst.
it was really high end. They had like all these beer, and it was really cool, funky place. And he had told me that, he goes, I made a lot of money in Hollywood. He goes, me and a bunch of other guys got in just at the right time. What they did, I mean, I don't know exactly what they did. It's not my world. But they rendered video. They rendered film. And it was a time when Hollywood really didn't have the technology to render. But there were new
Digitally,
programs.
you're saying.
Well, there were programs on the market. God, this is back in
Would have been
2000.
late 80s. Maybe? No?
No, this was 2002, 2003.
Okay.
So I don't know what he was doing, but they were charging like $60,000 an hour to do rendering. And because the industry hadn't caught on that there were programs out that could do all this stuff that they were paying big bucks to do. So he got in for a couple of years and made a killing. Guess he made a couple $1 million until Hollywood finally caught up to it and realized they didn't need to pay this kind of money. And the guy lost his job. He's like, well, I'm getting the hell out of Hollywood, and I'm going to go to Seattle and open up a restaurant with all this money I have. And that's where we met. And apparently he bought a house in LA for a rental investment. And he also bought Paul Stanley's black Mercedes off eBay. And I think he paid like $150,000 for it. That's what it ended up selling for. So anyways, I didn't know he had the car because he always drove this other car to work. And I had been friends with the guy for 6 months. And one day he comes into my shop. He's like, hey, you got to go upstairs and take a look at this. And I went up to the parking lot, and there's this evil beast just sitting in the parking lot in the corner, just looking like he just wants to pounce on it. I go, what the hell is this? He's like, yeah. He goes, I shouldn't really be driving it. I got some problems licensing it, but I took it up from California and I park it in my backyard on Woodby Island. I'm like, wow, this car is really cool, blah, blah, blah. So kind of forgot about the car. Years went by. I decided to move to California, and he got burned out on the restaurant, and he decided he wanted to get into the edible marijuana market because Washington State had just turned to legalization, and he was going to move down to the border between Oregon and Washington and rent out this big building and process marijuana into cookies, and then he would sell them.
Yeah.
And so misery loves company. So I'm in California, and although I'm selling guitars and work is good, it's like I've set my life up to where I have too many bills. This place, this ex-Hells Angels clubhouse that I'm renting on the beach is just killing me. And so we call each other like once a week, complain about this, complain about that. We don't have enough money to do what we really want to do. And one day he calls me up and he's like, hey, he goes, can I borrow 10 grand? And the problem with that is that I had already been hearing all the stories about how he's blowing through 100,000 here and it's not working. He's blowing through another 100,000 and it's not working. And to be quite honest with you, he's telling me things that I kind of question. If he's kind of making some dumb decisions as far as I'm concerned. And I'm kind of like, I don't think maybe you should be doing that. That doesn't sound very kind of wise. And right. I don't know. And so I'm having my own money problems. And so when he calls me up and he says, hey, I need $10,000, I'm just kind of like, dude, I don't have $10,000 to loan you. I just can't afford to lose it. I mean, I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. And then I got kind of pissed. I'm like, dude, sell the Batmobile. That's what we called it. We called it the Batmobile. Uh-huh. I go, why don't you sell the Batmobile? And he kind of sighs. Ugh. He goes, I can't. I'm like, well, you're going to have to. I said, besides, if this $10,000 is going to break your business, you can buy a nice. He's like, no. He goes, you don't understand. I never got the car licensed. I've tried to get it licensed. They won't license it. It's a big mess. They say it doesn't even exist. And I feel like this is just another one of these horrible stories that makes no sense. And so I said, okay, I'll give you $10,000 for that car. And if you can pay me back in 6 months to a year, I will sell you back the car for the same amount of money. And he's like, yeah, but you can't get it licensed. I'm like, I'll get it licensed. I'll deal with that. So this is what happened. So I flew from LA all the way up to Washington State, got to rent a car, drove way out to this place out in the boonies where he had this little marijuana grow operation going on, and went to his house, and there's the car. And first thing he does is he takes the license plates off the car. He goes, well, these license plates don't belong on the car. So now the car has no license plates. Again, it's illegally tinted. It looks like a drug dealer's car. The wheels are way too big. It's too black. It's just too evil looking. And my plan now is to drive the car from Washington State down I-5 all the way down to LA. But I want the car so bad, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, I'm not thinking clearly because that's a long distance. If I get pulled over, I'm done.
I don't think
thinking
clearly has ever entered any of this story.
No. So I won't go to prison, but they'll just take my car.
Yeah.
I mean, see, if I get pulled over, they're just well, we're taking your car. You don't have license plates on the car, and the VIN doesn't even come back to anything. And look at it. Look at this car. So anyways, I drive all the way down in the middle of darkness thinking that was going to help. And I'm getting in. I'm on, I think, the 101. And I just broke into LA County, and he calls me up on the cell phone. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing good, man. I'm almost home. He's like, that's great. Hey, there's 2 pounds of marijuana in the trunk. It was this bad pot for like cookies. And I was just like, I'm just going to keep going. I should have pulled over, but I keep going, and I get all the way into Ventura, and I pull in the back parking lot where all the Hells Angels are parked.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like walk away, and I kind of look over my shoulder at it. And I walked into the tattoo parlor where there's a couple angels. I said, hey, you want to see my new car? And so I kind of told them really quick as we're walking on the parking lot, like, yeah, I bought this from my buddy. It's not properly licensed. I just drove it from Washington State. And they were just like, cool, man. That's cool. Anyways, here's the bad part. And I knew this was going to happen. I took it in to get it inspected by the California State Patrol. It took me 3 hours to license the car. That's all.
Wow.
That's all. It just took, I just had a little patience, sit down with the DMV, get it licensed by the state patrol, boom, done. My hands were washed of it. And of course the guy never bought the car back from me, of course.
Oh my goodness.
It was kind of a bucket, to be honest with you. I drove it for about a year and a half, and then I sold it.
Huh.
But yeah, I was a big shot driving around. I was driving down like the old Highway 1 through Malibu with Paul Stanley's car.
Yeah.
Looking like, I belonged.
I really wish when you had pulled up, and for reference, in the previous episode, you told us all about how you lived up above the, or your shop was up above the Hells Angels hangout. But how you had a missed opportunity to get out of that car, and they say, "What's that?" And you say, "Say hello to my little friend," with the gear in the back, That's a great story, man.
And I got lucky. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But it worked out. And that's
So what's Paul driving these days?
Well, I'm sure he's not driving that big ugly boat.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, that is and ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see this, if you look it up on the internet, it's there. Put in Paul Stanley Mercedes, and it'll come up. And so we just I just sent it to you in the chat.
Let me turn on. My screen was dead.
You're gonna be like, "That's my old baby."
I'm logged off. I can hear you guys, but I'm on my wife's computer and I'm screen. Yeah, but you see it.
Yeah.
That was my car.
You described it perfectly.
People thought $10,000. People thought I was rich.
The rims are probably that much money.
God, yeah.
Wow.
The rims were ridiculous. The problem with that model is that it was a hot model during the time, but it really grew out of fashion quick.
Stiff right, I'm sure.
It was a bucket.
Yeah.
It was just too big and too heavy. My wife and I drove that to Vegas. And there might even be pictures on my Facebook somewhere.
Huh. Wild. Well, with that, I think we're going to spin the wheel of fun here. Tony?
Yes, Todd. What time is it?
Well, you got to do the thing.
There's a section.
Would you rather?
Yes, Todd. At this point of the show is a little game we play called Would You Rather? As Jared, in his Jiminy Cricket voice, so eloquently put.
Indeed.
This week's Would You Rather is a collaboration between two of our good...
Well, they are patrons.
They are patrons, and they are contributors.
They are also now patron buddies. I don't know what the mashup of that is but...
So this is brought to us...
They're putties.
Yeah. Putties.
Yeah.
I like that.
I guess so.
So Bob Crouch and Bruce Bacon got together to give us Bob and Bruce's But Ugly Guitars.
Okay. I'm game for this.
All right?
Yes.
So Bob and Bruce...
By the way, if you have either of these guitars, this is for fun. We're not throwing shade on anybody. Okay.
So Bob and Bruce tried to come up with the ugliest guitars ever. These are not real, so you will need to close your eyes and imagine the following guitars. However, if you are driving, please do not close your eyes.
Right.
But if you're sitting comfortably in a rest area, for instance, imagine, if you will.
That was a really long NPR pause, man. Pick it up.
Okay, so there are two guitars they have come up with.
Yes.
The first is a Jackson King V, loaded with 3 single coils and a Bigsby in burgundy mist metallic.
Oh my gosh, that's the Kerry King model.
Oh, well, not the burgundy mist, but...
No.
And it also has a tortoiseshell pickguard. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So basically, what you just described is...
it's an ugly guitar.
Huh?
It's an ugly guitar.
It's basically a Troy Van Leeuwen V. Because his I mean, kind of ish. Because that's what his signature Jazzmaster is.
It's a burgundy mist
Yeah.
metallic. Yeah, it's kind of a...
Yeah, kind of. Anyways,
Anyhow.
that was a bad comparison.
So there's the Jackson King V, or is a Fender Cabronita semi-hollow with a single wide-range neck pickup. Ebony fingerboard with LED red fret markers.
Oh, God.
And it's in matte black with a matching headstock. Black pickguard, sure. And black hardware. Now here's where it gets weird.
Yes.
A skull-shaped tuning pegs. And lastly, a white leather fringe hanging from the headstock.
Oh my.
Now you have to imagine that.
That's a lot.
There's a lot going on there. So, would you rather own the Jackson King V or the Fender Cabronita?
Okay. By the way, I got to retract. I was thinking the Burgundy Mist was darker, but then I started to pull back from that because I'm like, oh, wait.
His is ox blood.
Yeah, his is ox blood.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Burgundy Mist
It's lighter. It's almost like a lavender looking thing.
It
almost.
is kind of lavenderish, if you will. So, do I go first?
Yes, you do. That's how we do this. And then we're going to check in with Randy.
So I do kind of like the Burgundy Mist Metallic, but I would think I would be more comfortable, even with the skull-shaped tuning pegs and the leather fringe from the headstock, with the Cabronita style. No bridge pickup, though, so that's kind of a, I guess I would have to play rhythm a lot. So I think I'm going to do that, and I love the red LED fret markers. I mean, that's I think that would be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Cabronita style.
Okie dokie. Randy?
The Cabronita kind of made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I'll be honest. Maybe it's the way you described it.
As it should.
Yeah. I mean, when you first described the V, I was like, no way. But it's going to have to be the V.
All right.
Oh, God.
Todd, what do you think?
You know what? I have to go with the Cabernita just for the sake of I can't stand like Strat style pickups. I just can't. I can't stand them. Can't stand it.
All right.
So
it is
yeah,
Neither.
the Cabernita.
the Cabernita. Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks.
I mean it's a story.
Well,
if nothing else.
I'm just glad we solved that. That's
It was the mystery of the century.
Yeah, those are kind of
Those are bad.
Two ugly
Well,
guitars.
and I think they're going to continue with this series.
Oh, so they're going to have a collaboration.
Yes.
Oh,
And we also
dear.
have he's got a whole other one that he's lining up. Bruce he loves this segment, and we may have to end up calling it Bruce Bacon's Would You Rather.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank
that
you,
we
Bob.
could do.
You guys keep us laughing, and we appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
All righty. We're going to say thank you to a handful of people and bid our friend Randy adieu.
That sounds good. So, yes, at this point of the show is a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers,
Yes.
you see. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a friend, a sponsor, a hero of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win great, fun stuff.
Great fun stuff.
Great fun stuff, all three. So, but I think there's one thing more, isn't there?
Yes.
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Thanks, Jared.
You bet.
Yes, and that's what I'm going to do right now is read these names on the thing. So, special thanks to these executive producers: Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pampas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Elad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Rare Buzzer Effects, John Sebastian, John Halverson, Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport, Owen Eads, Plutone, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology, what? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Brazen, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, and Vader and Pedals.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so very much.
Oh, but wait, Todd, there's more because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones, and they wear a fez on their head whilst listening to the podcast.
I love it.
So special thanks to these Grand Poobahs. Anthony Jamalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Amika Nazionale, Moon Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wyoming Pickups, Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs, and Ty Barnes. A thank you, and a thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you guys so very much. We cannot do this show without you.
Absolutely.
That is the truth. I mean, we can. It's just nobody's going to hear it. It'll just be me and Tony sitting in here. But we do that anyways, I suppose.
Yeah, why not?
All right, Randy, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an absolute joy, a pleasure, and a memory that we shall not soon forget. Where can people find what you do?
I really like Instagram. Just go to Parsons Guitars. Go to my Instagram. Reach out to me direct. Simple as that.
Done. And make sure you go check out the Patreon.
Link there. If you go to my Instagram, there's a link there as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, and I'd like to say real quick, thanks to my clients. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you to you guys for having me on. Thanks to Henry Cash for playing the crap out of my guitars for the last few years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Tanya.
Yes?
Where can people find the things that you do?
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make custom pick guards for guitars. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to put a noiseless P90 into something, kind of like I'm doing for Todd. Just shoot me the email. I might have some good advice for you, too. As Todd would say, it's your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
Even more yours. Even more yours. Even more yours. All right. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Send us your Would You Rather. Send us a question. We got a couple good questions in that we're going to be getting into over the next couple episodes. So thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
And just keep tuning in. We got lots of cool things coming. We haven't announced some things yet, but they are going to be happening.
I love it.
Get out and see some shows. Have a fantastic Guitar Week, everybody, and subscribe!
Yep.
See ya.
I'm like 9 years old, man. Like, this is outrageous. I love it. Yeah. Now I got to take that out, you dirty bird. All right, man. I'm going to just reach over and turn the fan on really quick because it's hot.
It's stinking hot.
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Woo! That's my one fan.
Now, don't you wish you could go back in time sometime, knowing what you know,
What?
Do you
and
do you
apply it
know
to what you did then?
Yeah. Are you hydrating, caffeinating, or imbibing?
caffeinating?
Coffee?
I went back to coconut water. Do you do coconut water?
I like coconut water.
It's expensive. What happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, I stopped drinking it for a couple of years, and then I went back to it, and I was like $5 for a little thing coconut water.
Yes. So you have caffeinated coconut water?
No, just regular coffee. You know how much time I spend on that thought?
Oh my gosh.
It's like if you could wake up in your bedroom at 14 or 16 with all the knowledge that you have today, would you do it? I would do it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
It comes with some problems.
I remember that.
Yeah, Tony had to drive me home from the hospital. And then he just had his hands in his face. He's like, "Oh man, you couldn't have tried harder. Any one of those things for this long would have absolutely done that. But to do all of that,
If I could turn
and then I'd
back
create
time.
Toogle.
Toogle, yes. Twice as good as Google.
Yes.
But hey, before I forget,
We got to talk about guitar stuff here.
I know. Before I forget,
So
Oh,
for
Sonic.
2 years, I couldn't break the cycle, and so for 2 years working on the place, all I ate was fast food. And then one day, I was walking in front of the mirror, and I stopped and I looked, and I looked good. So I don't know what any of it means. I don't know. I ate that crap for 3 years and never felt better.
That is not how I expected that story to end. Yeah.
Would you like to go to see Ryan Adams with me next Saturday?
Wow, that sounds kind of romantic. Let me check after we get out. I'll check
yeah.
that.
I just remember.
Yeah. If things work out, that'd be great.
Yes.
Randy, you want to go?
I'm just glad I was able to witness that. That was beautiful. I wish you guys the best. Okay, we need to talk about guitars, but one food story real quick.
Please.
I can be quick.
I'm glad you have a follow up for that.
Oh, God.
I didn't know if the
be
interview was
awkward.
over or what.
Like, yeah, that's a great story. I got to go. No. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I think when you eat that much fast food, it's like having like the fast pass on the freeway. It just bypass all systems. It's just it gives you hope in the world, Okay. And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page.
and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.